Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle
and your man.
I'm Jarrod D. King. I am here with Renee. Tony is back.
What's up, y'all?
It's so nice to have you back.
It's good to be back. Thank you so much.
I'm just kidding. And we also have a special guest with us today. This is Lee Thomas, who is the president of Philly Black Pride. So welcome, Lee.
Thanks for having me.
I think you brought a special guest with you as well.
I do. She's on the floor right now. She's going to stay put.
It's a dog, not a person.
Right.
She's on the floor.
She's on the floor.
Yeah. She could also be on the floor.
So I want to start with Tony. What have you been up to? Let us know. I mean, I know everybody has been missing you.
Really? Oh my God.
A lot of the TikTok people, at least.
Thank y'all. I have missed y'all too. It's just been an emotional journey for me personally. Dealt with a lot of personal things at home, work, and I just had to take some space and time to get my life together. Like I told Renee earlier, I'm still not out of the clear, but I am a lot better than I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm good, and I'm glad to be back here.
Sure. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Renee, why don't you give us a little bit of an update, because I hadn't seen you, because we were supposed to record last week.
Yeah.
And our schedules got all messed up, and
yeah.
so what's been up with you?
I just helped my best friend Tyler move into her new place. With me, honestly, I've just been chilling. I've been trying to have healthier mornings. That has been my biggest thing. So I've been waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. Every morning.
I could not do no 4 a.m. wake up.
This was This was actually the first day that I didn't wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm exhausted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've just been having like a really fun morning routine, just prioritizing my mornings just to have a better day.
Yeah. That's good. You look, my hat's off to anybody who can wake up that early and work out. I can't.
I don't know how I do it. I think it's just like, I don't know that I'm doing it until I'm actually at the gym.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Exactly. So as you can see, Melvin and Sarun, thank you. Melvin and Sarun are not here.
Forgot his name.
They both had other things going on, but they will be back with us. I can't wait until we get like the whole crew back together. So that'll be a fun. I mean, we have to do something extra fun when we all come back.
Yeah.
But let me turn it over to our special guest, Lee.
Me. Moi.
So Philly Black Pride is coming up next weekend?
Yes, it actually starts on Thursday.
On Thursday,
yeah.
Okay. So this episode will be aired on Monday. So yeah, so you guys have a few days to figure out your plans to get down here. I know it's a little bit last minute, but y'all still. But why don't you let people know like what to expect, and what they can look forward to? Like, what would be like if you had to tell them like one of the many events that you came to, if you can do that, because I know you got a bunch of people that you have to please.
So. I mean, not just one. I can't pick just one because we have a lot of partners, a lot of great nightlife partners. And they all took the time to create some really interesting and fun night events as well as a few day events. We actually have something every day starting on Thursday. There is a special edition karaoke Thursday night at Level Up Bar and Lounge.
Nice.
So if you're free, stop by. All the events that are officially Philadelphia Black Pride events are on our website at phillyblackpride.org. So if you want to get tickets or pay at the door, all that information is up there.
Awesome.
But I can't choose just one because that's like choosing one child.
What are you most excited about for yourself? How about that?
Just being able to connect. It's been 2 years. We started 2 years ago. We created the theme Legally Black, and that was because the organization had reached 21 years. So So we were kind of saying that we were grown and we had this whole plan. We were going to be at the Cambria downtown, and it was going to do like turn the city upside down.
Well, yeah, and I was actually a part of the board.
Yes, you were.
Like right,
right
when the pandemic hit, and then I was just like, oh well, damn.
You came up with that tagline, legally black. I love that.
So the following year, when we thought we would be able to get back, we decided to keep legally black, but at that time there was a lot of civil and social unrest, so it still resonated with the organization. And here now in 2022, we are still legally black. That's but right. We have re-emerged, if you will, and we're taking it slow. This particular year, you'll see a lot of, I mentioned before, a lot of nightlife and day parties, and we just want to get people back into the city and feeling comfortable and safe within the CDC guidelines. And it looks like things are headed in that direction. We're not looking to get back to normal because we don't even know what that is, but right. We're just looking to re-emerge into whatever we need to be.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, look, I mean, like, everybody's been away. Like, this is like the first Philly Black Pride since 2019. Yes. So I know it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I know it's going to be crazy. I wish I could be here, actually.
You always...
What?
I think you were going away the year that you were on the board.
Oh my God!
No,
I think you were.
I don't think I was. No, I was not, because I was planning to do an event. Remember? Yeah. So the year that I was on the board, no, I didn't plan. But no, I think what happened. I think it might have been like a tennis tournament or something, like for the. I don't know. I forget what it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't the same something. Year. It was like something came up, but it wouldn't be the whole time. But yeah, where did you kind of threw me off track there with that one. But anyway, we're going to be looking forward to that. I'm actually going to be in Portugal.
Nice.
Next week. So yeah, it'll be my first time out of the country. I'm looking forward to that.
Your first time, or
my first time?
Oh wow!
Ooh. So your first stamp.
So
yeah.
You've never even been to Canada?
Mm-mm.
Or Mexico?
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, like, if you're in America, I feel like those don't really count.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think for me, it was always just like waiting to go with people.
Okay.
And it's like, the pandemic hit, and it was like, okay, I've waited all these years. I might as well have just went myself. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So now I'm like in the mindset of, if you don't make it happen,
I'm still.
Oh, so you're going by yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'm going, but I know some friends that are going to be there.
Okay.
So it just kind of worked out. Like, I'm kind of using them as an excuse to kind of like go out there.
Right.
And so I will have a few days with them, and then I will have some days by myself as well. So I get the best of both worlds.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't we jump into our topic today? This question is from a viewer, Aaron. He's 27 years old. He wanted us to address coming out and being comfortable with your sexuality. He says, I plan to come out as gay to my friends and family soon, and I wanted to know if I could get assisted on what to expect. So where do you guys, what would you say to Aaron as far as what to expect when coming out? And then we will definitely weave this into our finding your circle and your man type of situation. But I mean, I guess just to start off, what should somebody expect? Maybe Lee, maybe you can start off. Start us off with this conversation.
Okay. But I don't think, Aaron, that you can necessarily expect anything, because people, family, friends, they may surprise you, and I think you have to be true to knowing who your family and friends are, and you kind of know what. I guess you can't go into it with any expectations, because, like I said, because they may surprise you, but you just have to be open to hearing whatever the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
I agree with Lee. I feel like one, Aaron, thank you for trusting us in order to help you through your journey. And thank you for being brave enough to go through this process. But you're not alone, and we are here for you. I want to say it's a huge deal when you decide to come out, or you decide to present to the world and be able to accept all of me. But let me be clear. There's a big difference between acceptance and tolerance. Your family, you can still come out and they might not accept you, but they'll tolerate you because, oh, you're my family. Listen, I don't accept that you like boys, but you're still my son or whoever, and you're my household. And so be real about what you're going to get on the back end. You might not get full acceptance. You might just get tolerance. And we tolerate you, and that's just... I know it's hard to come to terms with that, but it's the ugly truth.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you the ugly truth behind it.
And to be honest, it could be worse.
And it could be worse.
But hopefully, it won't be that for you. You know what I'm saying? But it could be really good. You know, I mean, and I would say, like, in my situation, I came out when I was 17. So I want to say it was like senior year of high school. Like tail end of high school, it was like the last week, and I came out. I don't know, and of course, you know, I kind of like it was like one of those things where, you know, the doorbell rang and my mom was like distracted. I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm bi."
Bye.
You're joking.
That's how it happened. That's how it. Well, you know, you have to like peel the Band-Aid off a little bit. So I came off as like bi.
But was that really honest?
No, it wasn't.
Lighten the blow. Let me lighten the blow. Like, oh,
but it was his level of comfort.
Okay,
right. I was like,
in sharing. Yeah.
You know, I tried to give her a little bit of hope.
That
was my thinking. That was my thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Crush that hope.
Right, and then like a few days later, I was like, all right, so
hope to have
you like you know what it is, though, right? Yeah, you know, like we
so
had it.
What
Well,
did
not
she
maybe.
say?
She was okay with it. She was caught off guard, of course, because I got her at like the craziest moment. Like we had a guest coming over, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this." Ooh. But she kind of gave me like a thumbs up or whatever. So she was cool.
That was a gamble.
It was.
Yeah, we got guests coming over. You gonna tell me some stuff like this? I mean, that could have went a different way.
It could have, but look, you know, I mean, I think I also knew my mom and my dad as well, or like my family. Like I knew, I think at my core that it wasn't going to be the end of the world type of situation. Yeah. You know, I didn't know exactly how they would take it, but I haven't necessarily heard any homophobic rhetoric from them growing up, so I didn't really think it was going to be quite crazy like that.
Do you think a part of them knew already?
Yeah. I mean, talking with my mom now, like she was like, yeah, like I had an idea. It was. I
feel like parents always do.
Yeah.
They say moms always know.
I
mean,
it took my dad a couple days to actually come to terms with it, but he got over it.
Yeah. My mom said it was just a phase, and I was like, no, it's not.
She told you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a phase.
Yeah, she did, and I was like, it's not, and she was like. At that point, she was like, I knew. And I was like, how you know? And she was like, because I'm your mother. And that was kind of
But
the
she
extent
said it was a phase?
Yeah, at first.
Oh, interesting.
But Lee, you're also a little older than us, right?
Excuse me, say what?
Welcome back, Tony.
I am.
I mean,
yes, I am.
So, even, I don't want to say like culturally, but how do I say age-wise, you know, a little older. So,
I'm not that old.
I said a little older.
What are you, like, you Gen X?
No.
Millennial?
No, definitely not.
No.
You're like an older millennial.
No, I think I'm Gen Y.
Okay. What? Listen.
I think.
Okay.
I don't know what the year is.
So,
I thought it was, okay.
But you have, I'll say, what, around that time when you came out, do you think it was more under the bridge type of thing? Were you open to being out, or you kind of?
I think. I mean, I had or have a natural femininity, and it was because I was raised around a lot of women. There were men in my like in my life, but my grandfather was like the biggest male role model, but he worked a lot. And then my uncle played basketball. Like most of my uncle and my cousins, they all played basketball, so they were like in and out. And so my mom had 3 best friends, including my dad's sister, and they all had girls. Everyone had one child, and they all had girls, and I was the only boy. So that's who I spent most of my time with. So it was like one of those things, or that conversation where, oh, that's just, my nickname is Junior. That's just Junior, and it was like that, and so that's how it was. So it was never anything like, no one ever said stop doing this or stop doing that, but it was just like, And so when I started telling different family members, like as I got older, and it was more about me finding a level of comfort for myself, and that's what I told them, and because they all said that they knew, and I said, you don't know until I tell you. And so, but it was about me discovering the comfort in myself, So
there's a lot of talk about whether it's appropriate to even say, oh, we've been knew that. Like when you come out and they're like, oh, child, we already knew that, like they try to, like people will try to make it light as opposed to it being such a heavy topic. And I think sometimes it's taken in a way that is almost like dismissive.
Okay, I get what you're
And
saying.
so I'm curious where you guys fall on that range. Like if somebody were to say that to you when you came out, would you feel kind of like dissed almost?
I feel like, yeah, I can, obviously, I truly don't know because I am straight.
Well, you did actually, you told me a story today. Why don't you give us that story first?
So I was, so one of my friends who's gay in Massachusetts, he's very flamboyant and very feminine. And so I asked, I was like, well, I forget how we got on the topic, but I was just like, did you have to come out to your parents or like to your mom? And he was like, no, honestly, I didn't. I feel like she just knew already. She could just tell, and we didn't really have like a conversation with it about it. It was just kind of natural, like the way that like, straight people are naturally like, straight, I guess. But then I was just like, wow, I wonder what it'd be like for straight people to come out. And I was drunk. So then I texted my mom coming out to her as a straight person. And she got confused because I was coming out. And so she thought that I was like saying that I was bisexual or something. And she was like, I knew. I'm like, what do you mean you knew? First of all, no, you don't know anything. I was like, I don't like girls, Mom. I'm saying that I like men.
But you know what? That brings up something interesting. Straight people don't dream of coming out, and it is what it is. So why do we have this culture of coming out and this like I'm on center
That's what I was
stage
saying
now?
earlier.
Like why does that even have to be a thing?
I was actually saying to Jarrod earlier, which is like I really wish that coming out wasn't even like a thing. That it was kind of like I think that's where people kind of come from when they said like, oh, I already knew, like you didn't have to come out, kind of thing.
But
I don't think that's dismissive.
Maybe
I think that is from what I've seen before, it's a bit of reassurance. It's like, okay, and it's already hard, and it's already very anxiety ridden. And so if I said, oh, okay, we already knew, I think that's like reassurance type of thing, and it lightens the blow. And it lets you feel a little more comfortable.
That applies that the tone is there, that makes you feel like a weight has been lifted, because it can come across as dismissive if somebody says child irony, something
right,
like,
but there we go.
Maybe
or it's like I'm waiting. I was just waiting for you. Like I'm waiting for you.
Like, oh, well,
you could have told me.
Now I'm the idiot.
Yeah, because I could have been told you. Like it's that kind of thing.
Maybe it's like a little bit better just to say like I kind of had a feeling, but I'm happy that you told me.
Yeah,
maybe that's a better thing
subversive.
than saying like, oh, I knew. And also, I think if someone comes out to you, don't ever say, I love you no matter what. That's kind of putting it in like this is like some obstacle that you guys have to get around.
Yeah.
I hate when people say that to someone who's coming out like, I'll love you no matter what. What do you mean no matter what?
Well, sometimes it is an obstacle for people.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the people on the other end. Like, I'm coming out to you on the other end. Sometimes it's going to be an obstacle for you to even accept this part of me. And so sometimes they are navigating, how do I support my loved one in your journey if I don't even agree with it? How do I support you if I'm not in full, I might not even tolerate it. We talk about the tolerance versus agreement and acceptance. I might not even be with it all together. Some people come out and they got kicked out. I came out and I got kicked out.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many horror stories with that. And so when you say it's an obstacle, sometimes navigating it is hard.
What has been your experience with that, I guess, as far as your family is concerned?
Personally, I've never had a coming out story. And like I said before, I always used to play with the girls and think of the boys. I think I just was, right. I was always comfortable in my being. I remember one time I was playing with my sister and we were like close when we were younger, and she had her Barbies and I had my G.I. Joes. But I was like, this is Barbie's boyfriend, and I'm like, this was my idea of playing with dolls. But they bought me. No, you a G.I. Joe. They knew. This is G.I. Joe, that's Barbie. And I always wanted an easy bake oven when I was a child. And they would never. I was like, I want an easy bake oven. They would not give me that. And so my sister would usually play with my toys, my roller skates and the balls and stuff. And I play her dollhouse. And it was like they knew.
Yeah.
But I never had to come out.
Yeah.
But I always gave my family moments where they didn't have to feel like they denied me or anything. I always had good grades. I didn't give them too much trouble. I was a little bit of a rebel, but for the most part, I've excelled in stuff I did.
I feel like that's another thing for us. Like, we tend to overachieve.
Come on,
to overcompensate for the
name calling.
Yeah, it's like, we're gay, but
but I'm smarter than you.
We can do like, I mean, you're what, the president of Philly Black Pride. You are a medical professional.
Yeah. Let's break that down.
I've written a couple books. I'm trying to do this podcast. You're a licensed psychotherapist, and you've written books, we tend to overachieve.
No, I feel really bad that I do the bare minimum. I'm a bare minimum gal.
But where does that stem from? Where does that come from? It's like, okay, so for me personally, where I've learned that is like, I told myself, because I did get bullied when I was younger, middle school, a little bit of high school. High school, I knew my tribe. Like, they knew me and everybody was rooting for me. But it was like, I did not want to give anybody the opportunity to tell me no. Anybody the opportunity to deny me. And so that's why I did overshoot. That's why I did excel. That's why I did overachieve. Because I got that so much as a young person. Like, the denial, the rejection.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, absolutely not. When I'm an adult, nobody can give me the opportunity to tell me no. Absolutely not. And so I had to become comfortable with that for myself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think, part of it for me was kind of being in a dynamic with my brother, because I know he was just very he and I were very similar but different in a way.
Is this
like
the
one? Yeah,
one I like?
it's the one you like. Yeah, like he was a little bit more outgoing and gregarious, and sometimes a little bit more rebellious, and so I felt like I could not necessarily take that spot because it was already taken. And how, like, if it's like two of y'all doing stuff, you both get into more trouble, as opposed to just one person doing it. It's like, oh, that's just him, and this is my good son over here. And so I was trying to play the good son role, and trying to balance it out. So but
were you doing that subconsciously? Or were you intentional about doing that because you didn't want to draw attention to this aspect?
Yeah, no, I think it was more of a subconscious thing, at least, because I didn't know. I mean, I knew I was gay when I was like, I want to say 12, 13 is kind of when I started coming to that awareness.
That makes sense. That's usually when people get like their first little friends.
Yeah.
Little boyfriend, girlfriend.
But I mean, I think that had always, like, even before then, it had already been kind of ingrained. Like, my brother and I are close in age. Mm-hmm. He's about a year and a half younger than I am. So I was already kind of in the mindset of, you know, let me not step out of line, because the repercussions would be a little bit harsher than if it were just him, or if it were just one of us doing it.
So you're the older brother?
Mm-hmm.
That just might be an older sibling thing, honestly.
You think so?
Like, I'm the younger sibling, and I'm the wild child. Like, I am the moment. I am the drama in my family. And my sister, my older sister, she's so much more like, I'm going to be the good one. I'm going to do everything correctly because that looks crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do everything right.
That's the thing. Like, if you never like take the good one role, she never has an outlet for the wild child type of stuff that she did in college. Want to do. Well, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes us that much longer to actually get there. Like, I feel like, you know, it's only, like, I've only recently gotten to a point where I'm just, like, you know, breaking out of that. So, yeah, you know, it's a little bit different. But I also want to say, like, the reason why it's necessary to come out for many of us is that everything is so coded. Like, the whole thing with the G.I. Joe and the, like, that's just kind of ingrained. It's like, okay, so I need to come out because you're trying to place me in this box, and that's it's not matching up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think that it's just different instances like that for everyone. We live in and I'm not trying to say that was necessarily homophobic, but I'm just saying, like, in general, we do live in a homophobic society, and that's just kind of the truth. What'd you say?
Florida.
Well, there you go. You know, I mean, well, let's not kill all of Florida, but, you know, I get what you're saying. But yeah, the government.
Do you guys think that there's definitely been some changes about, you know, conforming to gender norms, especially, like, nowadays? Like, I'm sure the people who are coming out now might be having a bit of a different experience, especially since a lot more people are being comfortable with non-binaries and, you know, not really assigning things gender anymore, especially with these new parents that are now having children, and, you know, they're having interesting gender reveals, and they're saying, like, this is what they're going to be assigned at birth kind of thing. But then there are the parents who, you know, they don't buy gender specific colors and stuff like that. So do you think that coming out is going to be getting easier to the point where maybe people don't even have to come out anymore?
No.
Not
anytime soon. I don't think so. I mean, it's getting better, but I think it's going to take a while for us to get to the point where we don't even have to say it. We can just be who we are, and you know.
As a society, I think we're becoming more progressive, and we have more access to things than we used to have before. Okay, if you watch or turn on TV, you see, oh, there's a gay couple. Oh, there is a white and a black couple, you know, a white and a mixed couple. It's like you're seeing things that you would have normally seen before. You have more exposure now on television, on social media. So it's like you can have more time to process it, as opposed to it being a shock value type of thing. You're seeing more exposure, you have more access to those type of things. And I guess I will hope deep down inside, with the exposure, you learn how to have more acceptance. Yeah. But the personal theory I have is you're raised to be a specific way. I personally believe no child is born racist. Yeah. You raise your child to be racist. You raise your child to have certain norms. Children are naturally loving, and they don't know that. When you come to a child and a child comes to another child, they learn how to embrace each other. You teach your children certain aspects. And so, and this is a whole nother, I don't want to even get into all that, but I think the more we have access and exposure, the more accepting we can be of certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, what you just said kind of reminded me of something because, like, like no children is raised to be homophobic.
Nope.
And I think my mom kind of so when I lived in Boston, like when I was like 3 years old with my grandma, she had a hair salon in her basement, and she had a bunch of different people come in. I still think about this man to this day, and I hope that I did not scar him. And I was just I was a 3-year-old child. And this man comes in and he's wearing women's clothing. And of course...
Are you a boy or girl?
No.
What did you say?
I literally just like with all the attitude in the world was like, I ain't never seen no man wearing ladies' clothes. And my mom...
3 years old?
At 3 years old. My mom was like, oh my God. And she was like... And she was trying to, and it was crazy because she was like trying to backtrack, and my grandma was like, "Get that girl out of here right now." And like my mom had to like sit me down and like have like a whole conversation because she's like, "How did I raise a homophobe? What is this?"
You know what? It's like part of it. On some level, it's a little bit out of parents' control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to almost be there to like react to some of these things because. If you watch TV, like even on children's shows, there are certain norms that are set.
And I
there.
think that's why my mom had made it like such a big thing to tell me about. Like it was literally from that moment that I learned what like gay people who gay people are. That it was okay if women wore men's clothes. That it was okay with women. And my mom was very progressive. She was like some people like. They don't even want to be assigned. They don't want to be a boy. They want to be a girl, or they're just born different. Everything's fluid, and she like packed that in my mind for me to kind of counteract what the entire world was kind of giving off. She had to work extra hard to make sure that I, never said anything like that again. And so I wish that other parents were kind of like that, just to counteract. Did your parents kind of go out of their way just to like do certain things like that, or like go out of their way to make you guys feel more comfortable with, being gay, or make family members who are maybe not so okay with it be okay?
So I mean, my family is from the deep south, from like Alabama, so it's like one of those kind of things where there's always like now that mental health is like really big now, and being aware of it, where growing up you just think that's the crazy uncle or cousin that's sitting on the porch, and so you just learn how to see it and it be okay. You don't speak on it. It's like one of those, because we're also Christian too, so you see it but you don't speak on it. Unless you overhear adults talking about it, and then you stay out of grown folks' business, because it's none of your business.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but I mean, my mom was I don't even recall her ever having any gay friends. So it wasn't exposed in that way, or introduced. I'm sorry, in that way. But I feel like, because when we're talking about you're talking about your mother and how progressive she is, but as long as there are small like hick towns that are only inclusive to certain
That's right.
types of people, there's always going to be that ignorance, if you will, and like towns are, and I mean they're still there where they like the way that it is, and there's no regentrification happening. There's no forward progress happening. And so you encounter those type of people. I mean, look how many seasons we saw on The Real World of the same person.
That's true.
Yeah. So, there's always going to be that element. I think in my family, like, we've had, I know of some gay people in my family, but it's like, I don't think they've ever said it. It's like, we know what the deal is, but it's like, oh, that's just their friend, or that's, I'm like,
God.
We know, boo. We know. I'm talking to you.
I feel like, oh my God, I think that was like my mom's uncle. He was gay, but they always just called my uncle's partner just his friend, like
That's
his
right.
roommate.
That's old people, even straight people. So, this is my friend. That's what they do. I don't know why.
That's my roommate. I'm just like, are we sure?
Once again, it lightens the blow. It feels safer.
But it's like tiptoeing. It's like you're testing the water.
There's a little bit of tiptoeing. There's a little bit of fakeness to that too, to be quite honest, because it's just like. I don't know. I'm from the idea of say it and deal with it and let it be what it is. And I guess that's a little bit of a privileged perspective because not everybody can do that safely and stay in their family comfortably. You know, so I mean I get that, but yeah, like it's like people know what it is, but as long as you don't say what it is, then they're okay with it. But once you put a name to it, once you come out, once you make it real, then it's like, oh, hell broke loose. And it's just, it just seems really strange. It's like, okay, so what changed in the 2 seconds before?
Exactly.
It's just a little bit strange to me. But, oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, for me, my only concern was my mother knowing and how she felt about it. And once we established that relationship and she was like, okay, I know because I'm your mother, to me it didn't matter who else knew or who whispered or because I had to teach my mom some things and she was like, one of my cousins asked about me and I was like, what'd she say? And she was like, I didn't say anything. I said, well, the next time they ask, you tell them to ask me. That's right. And that's what she did. And so I didn't care as long as my mother was fine with it. It didn't matter. It was like it was almost one of those things like it's just me and her against the world, so it didn't matter.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I was like, as long as my mom, I'm like, okay, we're good. I do want to switch gears a little bit though because we are kind of talking. Technically on this show we try to talk about relationships and friendships and stuff like that. So as far as relationships are concerned, how comfortable do you need to be in your sexuality in order to be in a relationship? Do you need to be super comfortable? Do you need to be, the person who is walking down the street holding hands with your man, regardless of what kind of looks you're going to get?
I don't always want that. It's cute for a moment, for a temporary thing, or just a burst, or something sporadic. But that's not the energy I want to always give off. There are moments when I do appreciate a good PDA, and there are moments when I'm like, okay, like we're just going in the fucking market. Let's just go and come back out. like I'm serious. I'm like,
it's like it ain't gonna be all that.
It's not. It's just production. Exactly. But I know some gay people make it.
Some gay people.
And you know who you are. I know some gay people who make this thing larger than life. Like it should. Like
is it more like a political statement almost at that point where it becomes like a?
It might be.
But why? But it's not that deep. I promise you, it's not. For me personally, with my partner, I feel like my partner needs to know who he is. I cannot date somebody who was still in the closet, or semi in the closet. Oh, my friends know, but my family don't. I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing to help you transition with your family and help you work through that? And when I come around, I'm just a friend from school. Absolutely not. I've been there, and it does not. And we were living together. I'm like, okay, so when we go to Christmas, I said, well, who am I again? And then I actually spend the night. I said, well, I'm sleeping with you in the room. I said, well, who do they think I am?
Right.
Oh, you're my friend, I met you this. I was like, and I dealt with that for years.
The thing is, like, it's like when you're in a relationship like that and you're out, it's like you're taking some steps back. And it's like,
exactly.
That's a hard thing to do. And I personally could not do it. I remember.
I tried it.
Yeah.
And it worked for a couple years, and then eventually it was like, no, that's just not who I need somebody completely comfortable with them. And I'm going to be completely comfortable with me. And if you date me, I'm not this most super masculine guy, and I'm not the most super feminine guy. I'm somewhere in the middle, so you have to...
Leaning masculine.
I'm just strictly in the middle. I'm not going to say leaning. One way or another. You know what you get from when you get from me. I'm super bubbly, and sometimes I have super moments like, ow. And then when I'm in the club, it's like, okay, Tony gives boy.
You got a lot of owl moments, okay?
Right. But when y'all see me in the club, sometimes Tony gives boy. It's like, oh, okay, well, what's going on here? You know.
Thank you, Lee. I'm like,
no, a fitted does not. No, I'm just saying, but a fitted does not make a man.
I ain't talking about a fit. I did fitted.
Okay. Well,
Lee's a guess. Okay, I'm gonna be good. Right. No.
He knows what show he came on.
I hope so. But yeah, that's my story. Go ahead.
Do you think it's since I'm the designated older person, do you think
the daddy of the crew?
It comes with age that you change your perspective on PDA?
I do see more of the younger generation, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like the teens. It's like, oh my God, I wish I had that when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Or I wish I could do that when I was younger. It's like they live out loud and loving it. Mm-hmm. And that's honorable and it's admirable to see that. I'm like, okay, how did you get there so young? Mm-hmm. How did you get so comfortable so young? Because I definitely wasn't. And I know a lot of my friends were not like that growing up. So I see it more with the younger generation. Okay. And so I think it's something like I was telling before about that access, about that exposure. Mm-hmm. You're just going to see that with young people now. And the whole non-binary thing, it's starting early, and it's like, damn, we didn't have all this when we were growing up. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we had 4 or 5 letters.
Hello, LGBT, and Q.
Right.
And that was it.
And now I and A.
IAA plus, so. And even as right now, as a gay individual, it's still hard for me to come to terms with the whole non-binary thing. Don't kill me. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around it personally. Right. For me. I live in a box of LGBT and Q. So that's just what I grew up on around that time. Right. Mm-hmm. And some of my older people who are way older, they said, oh, we was just living in life. We didn't even have terms. Right. I was like, okay. Sissy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a sissy. I was living in life. I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah. I think as you get more comfortable with and I think it also comes with age as well. It's like you get to a point where you're just like, I don't care what anybody thinks. Right. And I think like for a long time I was very much concerned about like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm always like looking the right way, and I don't want anybody to say anything, and when I was with people it was just very difficult for me to hold hands or share a touch or a hug or something in public. Right. But now where I am, I'm like,
you can do that.
In some instances, I mean, I'm still like, I'm still getting there. I'm not completely there because I just haven't really had
come on now. But okay, I mean, I don't mind to challenge that. I'm just saying.
But doesn't PDA?
I'm trying to understand all these eye rolls.
Because I understand, but I honestly don't see you doing that.
But PDA comes with affection, so you would have to be an affectionate person in order to have a level of PDA.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see Jarrod as an affectionate person.
Wow. Wow.
As you toss.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, not affectionate publicly. I think you show more your affection behind closed doors and in those intimate moments.
I kind of get what he's saying. You definitely seem more of a I don't see you as like a public display of affection kind of person. I definitely see you as someone who would like maybe hold hands in public, but you just seem very reserved.
Exactly.
All the time.
Well, I mean, I'm not
like in a bad way. We don't see you doing that. It's just that you kind of give off a more reserved.
I got it.
Personality, and honestly, I don't like PDA. I hate PDA.
Yeah, I mean, like my thing is not to be super showy.
Whatever.
Like I probably would not, tongue my person down in the middle of the street. I wouldn't do all that.
Again, no, I don't.
It might be like a little peck on the lips. I could do. I could, hold hands, walking down the street for a little bit. I'm not going to hold your hand for a whole 20, 30 minutes. I don't even think anybody would do that, but I'm just like, I'm a lot more comfortable now than I was previously about doing those types of things.
Meaning you didn't do it at all?
No, not in front of, because my thing was safety. I didn't want anybody to say anything, and then I, end up having a fight or run from somebody or some craziness, because, especially like if I'm not in a gay friendly space or like a gay friendly part of town, then it's a little bit, because I remember I was went on a date with this one guy to the movies, and he was like, "Do you want to hold my hand?" And I was like, "Here." I was like, right now, like going to the movies, here. Like there's families here, like, and that's like sad to think, but people get like crazy, like about that kind of thing. They start looking at you weird.
Throw a riot.
I mean, you have to think about that too, because we are also people of color too. So it's not just about our sex; it's also our complex. I mean, our skin, and so there's layers of what we have to think about, where we are when we do certain things.
Is it a weird question to ask if you guys think that sometimes like white gay people are more accepted than black gay people?
Oh, definitely. And I think they have more.
They enjoy PDA a lot more.
I was just about to say that. Yep. I think they do. And I think it's more tolerable for them to see. It's like, oh, but I also don't think white gay people, like, it's hard for me to tell people who are gay and white. Like, with black people, it's like, sometimes you can tell. I think white people are just, and excuse my white friends out there, I think white people are just like, they live in being gay and fully accepting of all their shit. It's like, sometimes you see white people who you would think are straight. You would say, oh, he's straight. And you see a boyfriend come out of nowhere. I'm like, well, damn.
That is true, because when we went to Tavern, I was like, you're gay?
It's like, okay. It's like, I don't know. I think for them, it's just an easier process. They don't have to go through this whole code, if I could call it code switching type of thing. I think it's easier for them, and that they're not marginalized as much as we are.
Well, I mean, they kind of have a whole like system kind of set up to where it's, I don't know, it's a little it's different. It's just different. Like, from the outside looking in, we can tell that it's different, and it's hard to like really state exactly what it is. And that that opens up the door for a lot of like gaslighting, like, y'all just being like extra sensitive, and it's really the same for all of us. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's definitely a little bit easier. I'm not going to say it's like easy. It's not easy to be, it's not easy to be gay regardless of what color you are. But to be black and gay, like, we have
minorities on top of each other.
But even within the black gay community, it's still so much division. In the white gay community, I feel like you got the trans people, and you got the gay girls, and then the gay guys. It's like they're all like they won. Our gay community is so separated and divided. It's like it don't make any sense. Like, I'm like, oh, let's go to this club. It's trans night or whatever. My gay friends are like, oh, I ain't going to no club with the trans. I'm like, but you're gay. I mean, why can't we go level up? They got this night that's trans night. What's wrong? It's a good drink, a good time. No, I want to go with the. Oh, I was about to say that.
Where is the buzzer?
Exactly, right. You know what I'm about to say.
You are allowed to say it.
It's
but still a bad word.
I don't say the word at all. But yes. So I don't know.
That's because we're all living differently, living for something. Like, we're trying to exist in a way that is, I guess, comfortable for each individual person, whereas white gays, they just want, I don't want to like make them small to like minimize their gayness to like, I'm just gonna say this word, but I'm not gonna say it. Minimize their gayness, but when their gayness is, it feels like it's just like one note, if you will.
Exactly.
Where we have like these different nuances of our gayness as people of color.
Here's the thing is also that it's just you see gay white culture is like the only thing that's shown on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of expected. Like, we know all of the intricacies, and everybody knows what it is. And there are some things that are different culturally as a person of color, and I will say people of color just in general, because there are differences in all shades that you just don't normally see.
Do you think that makes it harder for, black men and black women to come out?
Black men for sure.
Yeah, I think so. We, if there were more representation of us out there, probably would be a little
and not the same type of guy.
I know, it's always like a big,
he's either big, and feminine,
or
skinny, loud, and feminine.
Exactly.
And like, there's no in between. There's no professional. I mean, we are, but you don't see that on TV. So we're still waiting to see
that
ourselves
representation,
on TV.
So that representation would make it.
And I swear, I'm sick of seeing. I love mixed couples, but I don't want. I feel like it's being shoved down my throat, now, because being gay is so much more widespread and accepted. It's always a mixed couple.
Well, we can go on and on about our different gay experiences. But I remember the original question, was helping Aaron, to get out.
Oh yeah, Aaron, did we help you?
I hope we have helped your experience.
I think we gave him a good ins and outs of coming out.
Because we're running out of time, but I really want you to feel supported in your own coming out journey. It is going to be a journey for you, and support looks different in different areas. So whether you get the support that you seek, just know you have support in us.
You do.
Do you guys have some tips for him for coming out, based on your own experiences?
Take your time.
Yeah.
Create your own space.
Create your own space. Yes.
That's a good one too. Yeah. I mean, I would just echo what they said. I really have nothing else to add.
Okay.
I have literally nothing to add. I'm straight.
She's the ally. Okay, on the group.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. Lee, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. And please, everyone, come to Philly this weekend. Come to Philly this weekend and join us for Philly Black Pride.
I'm definitely going to that karaoke event.
Oh, I'll be
there.
You
should come.
I want to come.
You should come.
Yeah, come meet.
Actually,
I'm not
about to
karaoke
sing in front. I'm not about to sing in front of a bunch of fabulous black gay men because I will get booed off the stage. But
I've been a couple times and it's it's good. I mean, there's people that can't sing, but
I cannot sing.
But it's
they be singing every day.
It's the nerve. Have some liquid courage.
I'll come out on Thursday. Pull me out.
They'll sing along to Taylor Swift. We act like we don't like no Taylor Swift.
Okay, but if I pull out the 10-minute version of All Too Well, at the bar.
We got some Swifties in the audience. And Tony's like, I don't know about that. Give it a try.
I'm like, Jared, close this episode out.
I was like, is that a thing?
I'm sure she'd be surprised. Everybody knows the short skirts and the t-shirt, whatever that song was. Everybody knows that song. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Please give us a like, subscribe, share this, comment, let us know what you thought. And until next time, if you have no one else, you got us.